Hey, my friends, this is Matt with Infinite Power. Just doing this quick video. I was inspired to do so. Want to talk to you real quick about insecurities and the truth about insecurities. Now, everyone has had dealt with this from childhood to teenage years, and if you don't rectify them or deal with them or dissolve them, you'll carry them on well into your adulthood and even in your old age. I've seen it. What's the truth about insecurities? How do you get rid of them? What do you do? How do you remove them? All these things. Well, first off, you can't mentally just be like mentally masturbate and be like, oh, insecurities are done, and I guess you can't just mentally think about it, right? One thing that people do, and I've noticed this before, with insecurities, they'll try and take action on it. Like, you ever seen someone who's always showing off money wise, or they work really hard and all this stuff? You're like, what are they doing? It's because they're motivated to do these actions because there's an insecurity that they're trying to, I guess, fulfill. To explain more about that, it's like, okay, for example, the person who's always has money and always wants to flaunt it. That's not someone who's really cool to who they are. And they may get money easily, but what they're looking for is validation from themselves. But since they're not going to give it to themselves, they get to other people. And one way that they've come to the conclusion is, I need to flaunt this money to show that I'm worthy, that I'm the man or the woman, whatever it is, right? But inside they're unhappy. And the thing is, no matter what they do action wise, how hard they work, how much money they make, that insecurity is eating them from the inside out and will fuck you up. A good example of this, right, real life example, is Bernie Madoff. If you don't know about Bernie Madoff, you should watch his documentary on him on Netflix. That guy had an insecurity, if I remember correctly, from, I believe it was his father. It was his father and or also his wife's father, his father-in-law. And he fits the exam perfectly. He was a person that could get money, but he was doing it to prove to himself that he was worthy, to prove that he was worthy of other people. And he got money on, he got lots of it. The problem is that it when you don't resolve these insecurities, especially when you're getting money, it implodes. Everything's imploded, and that's why he started the not the time we started, but it's part of the reason why he did the Ponzi scheme. I thought about my man, you made all his money, and at first he was going well, he was doing stuff legal, and then he did this Ponzi scheme, and I traced it back to him basically trying to fulfill this need to be like, I'm worthy, I got the money, and he had all his money and family, and that's the sad part about insecurity like that. You have all that stuff around you, all the good stuff, family, and if you still feel like dog shit on the inside, it doesn't matter. And why? It's because you're not giving yourself the validation that you want. And that's just one example, not to drag this out, but an insecurity, you can take all the action in the world on it, but if you're not addressing it internally the way it has to be, you're kind of just, it's all for naught. And that's just one. But we all have insecurities. I had mine was, lack of confidence in myself. I didn't feel like I was good enough. I didn't believe I was good enough. I didn't believe I for some reason believed I had to like do some epic shit. What does that mean exactly? If I'm good with kids, doing things, was able to hold the job, but I felt like anything I did where I did have success, it was like a cool, but it has to be up here. Like if I made, I don't know, for example, like if I closed a deal and I got like $1,000, like cool. Now I need to do one that's like 7,000 or 20,000 or people tell me, oh, you're so great with kids, and I'd be like, whatever, like it is what it is. I would also downplay myself on what I would do. To me, it would be like, what's the big deal? I'm playing with kids, like who cares? Like, but people would say you're so good with them, I'm like whatever. But they were amazed at how I can connect with them, and they all looked up to me. It was just stuff like that I would do, but because I didn't feel like I was good enough and I'd do something, the way I would do stuff would just be like, whatever, this is whack, I can do so much more. Whether you can relate to it or not, you probably have some insecurity where it's like you don't feel you're good enough in some form of fashion, and you try to rectify it by doing some outside actions. The truth of the matter is that to deal with these insecurities, you have to understand what it is. Insecurity, and this is my interpretation of it, is a thought, or no, is a belief attached to an emotion you've been resisting your entire life. Your emotions are a huge deal in this. I talk about this. So when you're insecure, let me ask you this. And you know, so when you really tune into your insecurity, let me ask you this. Are you feeling happy? No. Are you feeling pride? Are you feeling at peace? No. Are you feeling angry? Possibly. Are you feeling afraid? There's that. There's a good chance you get fear. But here's the one. Here's the one that's probably the answer. When you really tune into your insecurity and you have this belief by yourself, are you feeling sad? That's the key. Most insecurities, I believe, come from sadness that you have not sat be present with to dissolve it. And then, because I did this years ago, December 31st, 2017, I finally decided to sit down with myself. I was crying and deal with my insecurity of how I viewed myself in relation to the world. So I just think I was some broke ass shitty loser. I finally sat down with that, and I remember that it was sadness, but also it was like I felt in my body where I was just like I felt so like it almost like nauseating. It was very interesting. But I sat with that emotion, sat with that sadness, and I became present, breathed consciously until it was gone. And let me tell you, once I felt that out to completion, I was like, oh shit. I looked around my room and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm not a I'm not a loser. I'm not a dumbass. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, no, I'm gonna go kick some ass. Like, instantly, I was like, yo, I got this shit. I didn't know what the fuck I was gonna do, but I instantly knew I got this shit. I'm gonna go do something different. And I went out that night with some friends, had a good ass time, dance, and then I started doing other things like going out more, networking more, and just really going for it. And I was like, yo, I had shifted part of my identity. It's one thing, and I unbroke a chain I was holding back for the longest time, and that's in a short video of the truth about insecurities and to deal with it. I'll probably do another one, but that's the key there. You have to be present with that emotion, and there's a belief attached to it. And let me tell you right. And since that belief is attached to an emotion, you deal with the emotion. Guess what? The belief goes away automatically. And this means that you don't have to repeat to yourself a whole bunch of affirmations. We won't talk about that right now. There's other things you can do instead, but this is like the fastest way to deal with the insecurity you have of yourself. Trust me, once you deal with it, you're gonna be like, oh shit, I'm okay, I'm fine, I'm this, I'm that, like I'm gravy. Do it. And if you like help with this, subscribe to my channel. I have a coaching program, like be part of it. Hasn't launched yet, but you can be part of the founder circle if you want. Reach out to me. Hit me up on the email. That's my number there below in the video. Text me. Let me know. All right. Peace.